It's the same old thing every night. I wake up screaming because I've been dreaming about bin Laden. Only, it isn't really bin Laden I see in my dreams that causes these screams, because Ben has shaved his beard and cut his hair, and now he looks like Ben Affleck. And this half-terrorist, half-actor Ben Laden Affleck is running half-naked through caves being chased by Matt Damon. Only Matt Damon is also in disguise, pretending to be the devil, yelling, "Armageddon! Armageddon! I loved you in Armageddon, dude," while waving a pitchfork in one hand and the script for a new movie entitled Good Will Hijacking in the other. It's the same old thing every night. I wake up screaming because I've been dreaming about Matt Damon and Ben Laden Affleck playing love tag in some Afghan cave, only it does not stop here, because before long I see George Bush running into the cave, only he's wearing a blonde wig and a blue dress trying to disguise himself as Gwyneth Paltrow. But when Matt Damon and Ben Laden Affleck see this Texas transvestite running at them with arms spread wide and lips puckered, they pull out their swords, chop off her head, and stuff it in a box. "We've got Gwyneth's head in a box," they proudly proclaim in a note on the box that is sent to General Colin Powell. Only Powell is also in disguise, pretending to be Petey Pablo, who, if you don't remember, is the rapper who demanded that we take our shirts off and spin them around our heads like a helicopter. So General Colin Petey Pablo Powell takes the box and airdrops into the Afghan desert, urging the Taliban to take their shirts off and spin them around their heads like a helicopter. And the words, they're dumb. But the tune, it's catchy. So they do it. The soldiers take off their shirts. The civilians take off their shirts. Even the women take off their shirts. And Matt Damon and Ben Laden Affleck, who of course already have their shirts off, take Gwyneth's head out of the box and begin spinning it around like a helicopter. And this shirt swinging quickly degenerates into sexual swinging. And they're getting busy out there in the Afghan desert. Only the sand is getting into places that sand shouldn't get. So then they begin swing dancing and swinging on swings, and then the fat lady sings, and I wake up and scream. It's the same old thing every night. I wake up screaming because I've been dreaming about bin Laden. And the drums of war began to beat.
I'm on the bus, minding my own business, and who am I kidding? I never mind my own business. I'm a writer. I pretend to be looking out the window behind him, but he catches me, looking at his hat. "Oh, just checking out your hat," I say. And he mumbles something about if I had family who fought. "Yep, my grandpa." "Man, here comes the train again," he says. "I hate the train, damn." "I hate the train too," I say. And I wonder how long he's been sitting next to me. "Approaching Frio City Road." The bus voice is a lot louder in the back of the bus, where I rarely sit. But today, the bus is packed, like sardine Holocaust packed. And I wonder if my similes reflect my mindset. He's got a fanny pack, glasses, and one of those fold-up carts with the big black wheels. I hate taking the bus, but that's all I got. He entered the Army when he was 17 and served for a year. He got shot 3 times, stabbed once, and then a hand grenade exploded by his foot. He was young and he healed fast, he says, but now that he's older, he's starting to feel the pain. "Well, I'm glad he's here," I tell him. "I'm sure some days the bus is the only thing that kneels to him." But I don't say that part. He grunts and swears somebody up there is playing a cruel game with him. He pulls out his big black flip phone, bulky and ancient. Just another thing he carries. The veins on his hands look a lot like my grandfather's. And I want to tell him about my grandpa. I want to tell him my grandpa's name, how my grandpa worked at Kelly. And I want to tell him about that wicked scar on the bottom of my grandpa's foot. But then I'd have to tell him about the jellyfish. It's then instead I start fishing for a pen. And here's where the writing gets in the way. Because when I look up again, he's gone. I don't know when he left, where he's going. I didn't even get his name. I'm searching the sidewalks for any sight of him through the window when my eye is caught by a flashing red sign in the distance at the food bank. Thanks to our veterans, it says. And then in a few seconds, it changes to the time. And the drums of war continue.
War. What is it good for, man? War blossoms like an onion, and we're left with the tears. Media wants you to settle in. Couch surf on this invasion, support the plight of a generation. Bongos. War. What is war, man? It's the wealthy, always ruining. It's the wrath of apathetic, restitude war, man. See, there's us, and there's them. And they got all the cards, man. They got the government pimped out, tricked out, so why haven't we flipped out? Because they got the media, making lies and faking ties, and we're the ones taking bites of the bullshit, man. Bongo. And they got Christ out in front. So we get down with whatever they want, but we are the ones behind the sound of that gun, man. Bongo. This treachery, it breeds a lethargy in our hearts, man. And we're exhausted by this treachery, man. And goddamn if we aren't Americans. Bongo.
Welcome to TED Talks. No, I don't have a stutter. We at TED Talks make it our mission to try to educate deniers. If there is a truth out there that the public is denying, we aim to bring that truth to light. And here today, with a truth worth spreading, please welcome Jules Vaquera.
Hello, my name is Jules Vaquera. I was a member of the United States Air Force for 6 years, and reflecting on my service made me realize something. Oftentimes, being a member of one of the armed services is very much like being a member of a religion. It sounds far-fetched, but consider the similarities. We sing songs together. Every single morning in basic training, we lined up in front of the chow hall and sang the Air Force song. Off we go into the wild blue yonder, climbing high into the sun. We offered our praise and worship to the Air Force every single morning. I cannot tell you how many times one of my superior NCOs or officers sat down and gave us a sermon about his knowledge about our organization. A very dear friend of mine once told me that one of his NCOs stood in front of his unit and said, "Your race is human. Your color is green. Your religion is infantry." We have rituals for everything in the military, for raising and lowering the flag, for funerals, for changes of command, for promotions, and every single one of those rituals is carried out with meticulous attention to detail to make sure that they are carried out in the same way with the same reverence every time. We have holy relics, and trust me when I say that ours are afforded an equal amount of reverence to those held by any religion. So, that's how military service is very much like a religion, and I'd like to take that idea just a step further and explain to you why I think that the United States military is not only a religion, but a cult. This is how Merriam-Webster defines a cult, but in doing research for this talk, I came upon two organizations. The first is the International Cultic Studies Association, and the other is called Cult Watch. Both of these organizations are dedicated not only to educating the public on the danger of cults, but also to helping the survivors of cults, which I will make clear later is of dire importance. I found Cult Watch by simply Googling the words cult characteristics, and I was led to a list of 15 characteristics commonly exhibited by cults that was compiled by two psychology PhDs. And here they are. 15 characteristics. The group displays excessively zealous and unquestioned commitment to its leader. We're expected to give that to any person who is superior to us in the Air Force. Questioning, doubt, and dissent are punished. How many times have you heard a story about somebody being dropped and forced to do push-ups because they questioned a superior? Mind-altering practices. One of the examples it gives is debilitating work routines. I have shined boots, ironed uniforms, made and remade beds. I have scrubbed toilet sinks and floors, and then scrubbed the mops, brooms, and brushes that I use to scrub the toilet sinks and floors. They dictate how to think, act, and feel. We are told in the Air Force that regardless of whether we are at home or in the office or even walking through Walmart, that we are members of the Air Force and therefore representatives of the Air Force and must display the respect that is required of any Air Force member. The group is elitist. We all know that the United States has the biggest, baddest military on the planet, and there ain't nobody who can challenge us on that. Polarized us versus them mentality. That's kind of how war works. So of course that one applies. They teach that their supposedly exalted ends justify whatever means they deem necessary. There is no end that is higher than freedom. And there is no means that cannot be justified by that end. They induce feelings of shame and guilt. Yes, when you get dropped in front of your entire unit, you feel shamed. And when your entire unit has to drop with you, you better believe they're going to pressure you into conforming. Cutting ties with family and friends. This is explained by basic training. New members are isolated for a minimum of 6 weeks so that they can complete indoctrination before they're allowed to enter the general population again. And they're also preoccupied with bringing in new members. I know you've seen the commercials. And if you live in the poor part of town, you've seen the recruiters trolling the parking lots. So those are the characteristics of cults, which I feel applied to my military service. And one of the things that rang especially true to me was the characteristic that was about the exalted ends and justifying whatever means they deem necessary. If you go further into that one, it says how the members of the organization may end up taking part in activities that they would have considered to be reprehensible or unethical before having joined the group. And that one rang especially true for me. Mind control is absolutely essential for that to happen. And indoctrination is one of the tools of mind control. And there's a piece of doctrine called the Blue Book, which is treated as scripture. I'm going to take a moment and read a very small part from the section on integrity. A person of integrity possesses moral courage and does what is right even when the personal cost is high. Honesty is the hallmark of the military professional because in the military, our word must be our bond. No person of integrity is irresponsible. A person of true integrity acknowledges his or her duties and acts accordingly. No person of integrity tries to shift the blame to others or take credit for the work of others. A person of true integrity grasps and is sobered by the awesome task of defending the Constitution of the United States of America. This is high-quality propaganda. It's high-quality indoctrination, and as much as I hate the word, it's high-quality brainwashing. That is how good people end up doing bad things. It's how good moral men and women learn to substitute the orders of their superiors for their own actual moral compass. When a person believes those words, they believe that every person who is superior to them is also a person of integrity, and that they would never ask anything of a service member that was not necessary to protect the Constitution of the United States of America or the freedoms guaranteed within. It is those words that allow servicemen and women to kill innocent people. It is those words that allow servicemen and women to torture and humiliate innocent people. It is those words that allow service members to commit all manner of despicable acts which their own actual moral compass tells them are wrong. They gag that voice with the paper upon which those words are written. And here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, I am a person of integrity. I don't blame my actions on anyone but myself. They were my hands that held that gun, and my eyes that saw what they saw, and my mouth that never spoke a single word of objection. However, I was lied to, and I am fucking